Namaste. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday night Anamkara meditation program. And with all my heart and with all my love, I welcome you to our program this evening. And I'm just delighted that you're able to join us tonight. Bring your living presence of the divine and that blazing light of consciousness that you carry everywhere. So thank you for coming and supporting our programs and participating in them. So tonight, one of the things I wanted to do was, there's so much going on in the world, obviously, and there was a great politician, but he was so much more. He was a civil rights leader, and many people will know his name, John Lewis. And John was the representative from the 5th District in Georgia to the House of Representatives for over 30 years, and a real champion of civil rights. He was one of the leaders in the civil rights movement that led the first three marches from Selma to Montgomery in Alabama, and was beaten and had to stand up for the rights of everybody and people of color who were being so persecuted at that time and continue to be in so many places in our country and the world. So a real champion, and a champion for everyone's rights, women's, minorities, anybody whose rights were being trodden on. John Lewis was there speaking out. So an extraordinary leader and an exemplar of what these times are calling forth within each and every one of us. So this is something that John spoke some years back, and you'll see what this is, how this resonates. You are a light. You are the light. Never let anyone, any person, any force dampen, dim, or diminish your light. Study the path of others to make your way easier and more abundant. Lean toward the whispers of your own heart. Discover the universal truth and follow its dictates. Release the need to hate, to harbor division, and the enticement of revenge. Release all bitterness. Hold only love, only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won. Choose confrontation wisely, but when it is your time, don't be afraid to stand up. Speak up, speak out against injustice. And if you follow your truth down the road to peace and the affirmation of love, if you shine like a beacon for all to see, then the poetry of all the great dreamers and philosophies is yours to manifest in a nation, a world community, a beloved community that is finally at peace with itself. John Lewis, a great, great being. Born in 1940, passed away, still in office in 2020, served humanity, served our country with that kind of heart and soul, that kind of strength, being a beacon. And we can see in it the echoes of Gandhi, the stand, and the echoes of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, when he said to Arjuna, who was feeling faint at heart of having to enter this battle for good overcoming evil, Dharma overcoming adharma, and Lord Krishna saying, they're already gone. This is already won. I'm already taking them everything in. So he's saying, don't be afraid to stand up, speak out against injustice. Hold only love, only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won. So he's talking about, this great vision of where humanity is headed. And we've been fighting all the battles all along the way of people who get deluded. They get deluded by greed, possessiveness of power and wealth. That's what we're overcoming. We overcome it in ourselves. We overcome it in groups. We overcome it in the nation. We overcome it in the world. And this is a critical time for being able to really transform what's going on globally. Because one of the things that's happening in our world right now, given technology, given the mass of humanity around the world, things are amplified and they happen faster and quicker. We will be able to turn this around when we get and pursue the kind of right power and use of power in governments, in groups. The power that's there to serve, not just power. That's what we see in individuals who get possessed by power. Carl Jung talked about this. And that power drive, when it possesses people, then everything is put at the service of power. We're trying to shift ourselves and humanity to say, no, power, it's meant to serve love. It's meant to serve compassion. It's meant to serve so that we can all flourish together. Not a few hundred people have billions and billions and billions of people are starving and at a loss. That's what we're trying to change. And we become the beacons for that truth. So we find that truth in ourselves. We find the truth in our hearts. We find that magnanimous love that's all embracing. Even embraces the people who are deeply afflicted, who want to impose suffering on others. Out of compassion, we want to restrain them, confine them, prevent them from doing that. But we also want to see past their afflicted nature into what their divine essence is, as divorced as they are from it, as completely incapable of often even manifesting the littlest bit of compassion, care, insight, self-reflection. So these are seriously, sadly, tragically damaged individuals who have been given the reins of power. And that's our work over the next several years, and probably longer, to take those reins of power back, and then our turn to hold them wisely, to uplift, to make sure that everybody is included in prosperity, included in compassionate care, and look beyond the borders of nations. So it's not that one nation people get comfortable, but they're really their comfort is based on the exploitation of workers in some other country. We want everybody to become free. We want everybody to flourish. There's this world, and it's another outcome of the development of our technologies and our capacities to develop food resources and distribute them. We have enough abundance in this world for everybody to flourish, for everybody to be well fed, for everybody to have the health care they need. The only thing that stops that are greedy people and greedy governments and greedy corporations. So we have to be clear that part of our practice is not only to be able to get grounded in the boundless nature of our own self, our loving, compassionate nature that can embrace and does embrace all that is, but we also want to know that, we can take hold of the power that goes with that to live dharmically and to have our organizations, our families, our corporations, our governments reflect that kind of highest understanding, that kind of truth, that kind of loving compassion for all. It's a big task that we have to take on at this point. And it's our practices. It's becoming steady in that. That's what John Lewis, speaking like a great sage, is find it in your heart. Turn within, find that. That's where that source is. That's where that strength, that's where that will, that drive to stand in the face of being beaten, as John Lewis did, as Mahatma Gandhi did, as many people do, as people are doing now in the face of whether it's ICE or some other thugs or government agents in other countries, what they're doing to people. No? So we have to stand to that. We have to find that strength, know that strength, and be able to walk with that strength into the world, to be that beacon. Because that's what each of us is called to do. We can't be the one light that enlightens the entire world, but we can be a beacon where we are. We can be the beacon that shines a light in our relationships, in our families, in our communities, that we uphold the highest, and that we don't fall prey to demonizing the enemy, as the enemy demonizes and dehumanizes the people they want to exploit. We don't want to fall in that pattern. We want to see the truth and then act on that truth. So we want to seize that power again and walk that into the world in the service of love, compassion. The highest truth is we're all the divine. We're all one in that divinity. We're all one. When we see through the eye of wisdom, we see that unity. That's what we walk into the world. And these kinds of dynamics, these kinds of toxic strains of the mind-brain of humans getting caught in this kind of greed and these kinds of delusions of that people are entitled to own more than anybody else, by far more than they need, and that others should just live on the edge of death and poverty. We want to overcome that, but that's been going on, well, for millennia. You read, this is a quote from the Tao Te Ching, the ancient Tao Te Ching. So Lao Tzu writing 2,500 years or more ago, right? The great way is easy, yet people prefer side paths. Be aware when things are out of balance. Stay centered in the Tao. When rich speculators prosper while farmers lose their land, when government officials spend money on weapons instead of cures, when the upper class is extravagant and irresponsible while the poor have nowhere to turn, all this is robbery and chaos. It is not in keeping with the Tao. Whoever is planted in the Tao will not be rooted up. Whoever embraces the Tao will not slip away. Her name will be held in honor from generation to generation. Let the Tao be present in your life, and you will become genuine. Let it be present in your family, and your family will flourish. Let it be present in your country, and your country will be an example to all the countries of the world. Let it be present in the universe, and the universe will sing. How do I know this to be true? By looking inside myself. The Tao is the center of the universe, the good man's treasure, the bad man's refuge. Honors can be bought with fine words. Respect can be won with good deeds. But the Tao is beyond all value. But no one can achieve it. Thus, when a new leader is chosen, don't offer to help him with your wealth or expertise. Offer instead to teach him about the Tao. Why did the ancient masters esteem the Tao? Because being one with the Tao, when you seek, you find. When you make a mistake, you are forgiven. That is why everybody loves it. The Tao, the way of the infinite, the way of the divine, the way of Shakti, the way of the living presence of the creator of all that is. Not achieved by mind, by looking within and going beyond the mind, by going into the heart. To Lao Tzu, saying the same thing 2,500 years ago. Look into the heart. Look into the essence. Look within. When we become established in that, when we become rooted in that, we're unshakable in the universe. When Buddha began talking about the four immeasurables, One was unshakable peace, unshakable equanimity. He was speaking of being established in the Tao. The essence of being all that is. That's what we're capable of. That's what humans are capable of. We're scrambling around, following the dictates of people who want to fight over crumbs and think that they're better because their pile of crumbs is bigger than somebody else's. The riches that come through knowing, true knowing, of becoming established in the highest, becoming established in unshakable wisdom, peace, that's certainty. That's what then buoys us up, our spirit, our bodies. Doesn't mean the body may not experience pain. It will. It's the nature of the body. Doesn't mean the mind won't experience turmoil, but it'll have a refuge. It'll have the center, that center of being that then buoys the mind, carries the body through its pains. Even as we face whatever conflicts unfold that we're seeing now. Some may seem distant. How long will they stay distant? When will our time come to walk into the fray? This is what we're called to do, to stand like that, to be that beacon. So it reminds me of, it was in 1972. There I was, fighting racism, standing for equality and justice, getting arrested, being carried away by the state police, putting everything on the line, lost my job. Though I didn't have the money to afford it, I lived week by week. But when you know what's right, and you feel that, the passion of standing for that and standing for everyone, that we may all flourish together, there's a strength because it resonates with unity consciousness. That we stand together, we help each other. This is a huge evolutionary step beyond just what's going on with economics and politics right now. It's a huge evolutionary step that humanity has to make. That it's not about individuals and their survival, little groups in their survival. We have to flourish together, all beings on this planet, so that we see flourishing together, creating environments where we're all flourishing, where we're not dying of pollution and diseases caused by our own ignorance. That's what we're called on. That's what we can do. And we can see it unfolding. I was reading about one of the states in India, Sikkim, has become totally organic. An entire state, all their agriculture, everything, totally organic, no pesticides in that state. This is what happens when people band together, see that, oh, this is the way forward. Who poisons their own well? This understanding, coming to know that, and coming into congruence with that, that is part of the meditative path. Meditation is about knowing the highest and then living it into the world. Not sitting on a cushion knowing the highest, not sitting in a cave and knowing the highest. Living it into the world for the benefit of all beings. All beings. That's what we're called on to do. That's what we can be inspired to do. That's what we're uplifted to do. That's what we're empowered to do. So as we're doing practices, it's both coming to know the boundlessness of being, the wisdom of being, the strength of pure being, and then carrying that into the world. That power in the Eastern tradition, she's known as Swatantriya Shakti. Swatantriya, unimpeded power. Unstoppable power. The power of consciousness of your own self. This isn't somewhere else. This isn't an off in some other heaven, some other time. Here now, you. Everything about you is an expression of that power. It's the power that dances as the atoms in every molecule in your body. It's the power that throbs in your heart. It's the power of your breath coming in and going out. It's the power that drives the mind and its thinking. All power, all Shakti. That's all there is. So when we come home to that, the Tao, another name of that Shakti, the Tao, we can live informed by that. Not informed by the petty mind caught in what it's lacking and wanting and needing and thinks it's going to get it by, stealing it from somebody else, oppressing somebody else, denying it for somebody else. That's all the mind. When we come from wisdom, from strength, from power of being, in congruence with the universality of that being, the universal nature of that loving compassion, then we can transform this world. Step by step, breath by breath, day by day, holding that light of truth aloft. And people are so caught in the dark and so despairing, feeling so impotent in the face of that we all need to hold that light so others see, wait a minute, there is light in this dark world. The ancient yogis talked about it coming, Kali Yuga, the dark age, where Dharma, being aligned with the highest, would be at its lowest ebb. They talked about it as a time when then each one of us becomes a Dharma holder. Each one of us stands for those highest truths. Each one of us gives an expression to that. Each one of us is a light illuminating that darkness, helping others to discover their own inner luminous self, whatever form that may take to them, however they might approach that. There's only one light. So that's what we're doing. Even when we're doing simple practices, simple to the mind, we got to watch that mind. The ordinary mind makes things ordinary. A sublime practice, like mantra, like being absorbed in Om Namah Shivaya. This throb of the infinite that has taken sound form so that the ordinary mind, caught in its reduced, concrete level of existence, can still perceive a throb of the infinite. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And enter that throb, become that throb. Repeat it silently, sing it aloud, until you notice it and feel it, vibrating through every part of your body, that it courses through your veins, that it pulsates in the marrow of your bones, the infinite, the divine, the one, the light, not the physical light, the light of consciousness, the light of knowing, the light of love. That's what illuminates things. People look for physical lights. It's not about a physical light. Think of the light of love. Think about when you've been in love, or when love arises, and now you're seeing through the eyes of love. The beauty you see, the harmony you see, the embrace that you feel. That's not because there was a physical light. That's a light of that knowing through the power of love, knowing that connectedness, knowing that unity, being empowered then to walk that into the world, to refuse to be taken by other people's ignorance, anger. We stand firm in that because we know the center. That's what Lao Tzu was talking about. How do I know that? Because I went inside and I came to know that. That's what we do. That's what then empowers us to walk it into the world. So what we're going to be doing now is chanting the mantra for a few minutes and then sitting in the stillness. But now we're just going to set it all aside to enter that light that has taken the form of sound, that has taken the form of mantra. And if we become absorbed in it, fully absorbed, meaning we keep letting go of this thought, that idea, this feeling, this sensation, that, all the stuff that the mind keeps throwing up, we just throw it into this inner yagna, this inner sacred fire of Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. I am the auspicious one. Om Namah Shivaya means I bow to the auspicious one. I am that. I am that blazing light of loving consciousness that embraces everything about this mind and body and all the universe. Aham, I am that. So when we enter that, we will actually be able to experience sound. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, dissolving into just consciousness, a throb of the awareness of being, just being, unbounded being. Not just this body, not just this role, not this just gender, not this thing sitting here, isolated in time and space. No, universal being, luminous being. Mantra dissolves in its source. Its source is that which transcends all. So keep following the mantra all the way into its source. If the mind gets in the way, it's okay. Just then stay with the level of mantra. It might be that silent mental repetition over and over. It might be fast, it might be slow, it might be with the breath. But what you're doing is you're marshaling all your attention and giving it into that vehicle of mantra, so that then the mantra can dissolve all that you put in, which is all the limited notions of limited self, so that we can come to know the infinitude of being that's always here. The limited sense of being, that'll reemerge later. But more and more, you're going to see you hold even that limited sense of being in the abundance, the infinitude of being, the truth of who you are. That you can walk that effortlessly into the world. Until then, the mind efforts. It makes an effort to be mindful. Mindful about being compassionate. Mindful about being kind. Mindful about letting go of irritability and anger. That's all good transformative work for the mind. But the more it's awash in that field of consciousness, the more those old patterns of reactivity that seem so automatic become quieter and quieter. It takes more to provoke them until they're finally going to be expunged. For now, we'll rest in Om Namah Shivaya. I bow to the infinite, the auspicious one, the own self. Rest in that, know that, revel in that. Discover the four immeasurables that suffuse your essential being, the boundless loving compassion, the boundless rapturous joy, the unshakable equanimity, the infinite wisdom. That's who you are. That's what Om Namah Shivaya takes you home to. Kali Devi ki jai. Om Namah Shivaya. Om And we end with this prayer. And may all our practices truly benefit everyone. And may all beings know complete freedom from suffering. Namaste. And John Lewis, echoing those eternal truths. You are the light. You are the light. So we let go of everything else, all the stuff of the mind, all the old patterns of conditioning and identification, to step into the fullness of our own being that light, and walking it into the world, just as we are, just where we are, being that beacon. We're not responsible for illuminating the whole way, the whole world, all beings. Just where we are. It's like a street lamp. It doesn't stop shining because it can't illumine the whole road. It offers that pool of light for people to navigate, to see, to share. We share that light. And then others become ablaze, knowing their own light, filled from within with that light. That's what we're given to do. So I want to thank you all for being ones doing that, for doing practices, for becoming more and more luminous and radiant in this world. The world needs your radiance, needs the light of your love, your wisdom, your compassion, your strength, your ability to put one foot in front of the other even when it feels so daunting to do so. So thank you for being Dharma holders, holders of this highest wisdom, this highest consciousness, this light of the infinite, and offering that to the world in all the ways you do in everyday life. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for coming this evening and sharing your light and your presence with others. Thank you for the many ways you support Anamkara, sharing our videos, our e-newsletter, letting people know about what we offer. Thank you for your donations and helping to support making that possible. So thank you. Jai Ma.